We'll begin the meeting, and we'll start with standing and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Pat, would you do the roll call, please?
Ellen Anderson.
Here.
Scott Hardeman.
Here.
Monica Hassel.
Here.
Mary Kay Jacobson.
Here.
Greg Jones.
Here.
Martin McLean.
Here.
Isaac Zerker.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, there are 7 board members present, therefore we did have a quorum.
All right. Next order of business is to approve the minutes from the prior board meeting of September 25th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, I'm going to go through some things that we're going to do today maybe a little bit differently so that everybody understands how we're going to do the protocols today. First of all, we've gotten feedback from people in the focus groups and that type of thing where we have not been as diligent as we would like to be, and certainly not as diligent as you would like us to be in terms of responding to questions that come up during the meetings. And we've tried various ways. I tried it for a while. Monica has tried it for a while. The problem you get with as a board member is that you get involved in the conversation and listening to people, and you lose the questions. So we've come up with a different protocol that we're going to start using today, and that will be is that Shannon Turner, you're here. I saw you. Stand up so everybody sees you, please. Okay. Shannon is in charge of our communications area for the club, in which her sole purpose today is to capture questions that you may ask and that we cannot answer. Even if we do answer them, we're still going to talk a little bit about them. But if we miss the, or if we say that we're going to get back to you with the answer, she's going to record those questions, and at the end of the meeting, we will ask her to read back any questions that we have outstanding so we can make sure, number one, we captured the right question, and number two, if there's something that we missed, that we can gather it then. So that the idea will be is that what we'll do is after the meeting then, we will get those questions. We will make sure that Shannon works with Bill and determines who's the best person to answer those. And we'll get back to you, to the person. And also at the next board meeting, what we'll do is we'll have the Q&As that were answered at that time, or answered for that meeting. We'll have them included in your board package so you'll actually see the answers in writing. We will post them on the website, so you'll have an opportunity to be able to see those. So we think this is going to be an improvement in terms of how we make sure that we follow up and get all the right questions answered from your perspective and ours as well, okay? The second thing that we're going to do, and I want to be clear about this, we have 2 presentations today, one on the EMS building and one on food and beverage. We're going to make those more like town hall type of meetings or presentations where you can ask questions after the presenter has gone through the material, okay? So this is not going to count against your 3 minutes, and it's not going to be, what happened? And then there was darkness. Oh, and then there was light. So we will go through that in terms of allowing you to ask questions after the presenter has made their presentation on that topic, okay? So, but everything else is going to stay the same. You're going to have an opportunity to ask questions here at the beginning, and then you'll also have an opportunity at the end. And the 3-minute rule will still be in place. And the 3-minute rule for those presentations in terms of asking your question will still be there as well, okay? All right, with that in mind, are there any member questions on the agenda that you want to ask? And please, when you come up, make sure you state your name and your address.
Beth Jones, Hickory Ridge Lane. I printed off the agenda this morning, and the one I got today is different. So I guess the first question I have, and then I won't ask anymore maybe, is the fence policy going to be sent back to the ACC?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then I'll reserve my comments for later. Thank you.
In that regard, too, I am going to tell you, we just got some breaking news, if you will, this morning. And there's one agenda item on the agenda that's on there, the approval of the private road sign at the entrance of Glastonbury Townhomes. we're going to delay that. We need to do a little more exploration to make sure that that truly is a private road, so we're not going to bring that one up today either, okay? For everyone's knowledge. Any other questions about the agenda?
Tom Ratcliffe. So first of all, and I guess this is to Mary Kay. Page 4 and page 8, under our revenue, both year-to-date as well as for the prior year. You know, golf revenue for 2025 was budgeted at a significant increase over 2024. And I'm asking why that was done, some of the assumptions behind it. Bill, despite what's mentioned, golf revenue is up over 300,000 over 2024, yet we say we're talking that it's behind. I'm curious how the projections were done, the assumptions, if in fact it's that far behind, or is it just bad budgeting? Also, as it relates to golf expenditures, which are $500,000 over 2024, and again, I'm asking about the budget and why that significant increase over 2024. Greg, you mentioned food and beverage that we were going to talk about later. I'm not sure if that includes the financial portion of it or not.
Well, come.
So therefore, if it's not going to cover the financial, my question is, again, expense-wise in 2024, over what was budgeted, we saw a swing of over $300,000 in just the budget over 2024. And again, I'm asking the whys behind it since we don't see that information.
1 minute, Tom.
Will we look at in the future as it relates to all the negotiations going on the Bobby Jones contract? Will we look at maybe modifying some of the things, especially the confidentiality agreement? Mark, when you go into the resort report, can you compare the numbers, please, last year's numbers versus this year's numbers, not just a percentage of revenue, how it compares to last year? And then Mary Kay, as regards to the policies that are proposed on the agenda, the revisions, I'm hoping you're going to explain why we're doing that, why the changes are coming about, especially as it relates to the revised amenity reserve policy. And just a point, I know you took it off the agenda, but Isaac, as it relates to the
3 minutes, Tom.
As it relates to the sign policy, does it conform with our sign policy? Thank you.
Okay.
And those 3 minutes don't count towards these questions, Scott.
All right, any other member questions? Come on up. Len?
Glenn Polson, 124 Walnut Ridge Drive. A couple things on golf already mentioned. It says a precipitous decline in play for packages and preferred rounds. I'd like to understand, what we think the reasons are to that. Going back to some of the expenses, I noticed that for police, our expenses year-to-date are a good bit over prior year. So question, is there some major thing going on there? Going on to some of the other areas, if you look at net from operations and sewer, it looks like a good business opportunity for us. It's been quite positive this year, which is good for us. Another question, overall about process, I guess. This is the first year that we have had specific issues related to our plan forward, our strategic plan forward, and all the various projects that have been identified. I don't know if we have seen enough experience yet to look at the process we're using and say, hey, that's a good process, or maybe we should make some improvements in it as we go forward. It is, at least from what I've seen in the past comparatively, this is a huge list of things we're trying to get done here. So I appreciate the difficulty of it. So the question is, how is the process looking good? The only other thing that I would ask is
Are you
the board.
referring, Glenn, are you referring to the reserve study?
Reserve
Okay.
study,
All right, I
exactly,
just
yeah,
wanted to
because
make
that's a
sure.
massive, massive thing.
Yes.
The other thing is, obviously, from our elections, we've turned down the revisions to the CNRs. Question that I have to the whole board, and especially to Mr. Zurcher, is where from here? Are there any ideas? Where are we going to head? It's a very important issue, and I'd like to hear from the board on that. Thank you.
Okay. Ted?
Ted Landers, 22 Amesbury Court. Just a very simple thing for Jason or MK. On page 16 of the financials, at the top of the column, one of the headings is RSAR. I have no idea what that stands for. I assume it's reserve study, but,
Reserve study.
and what's the AR for?
So it's CAR is for capital, the A is appropriations, so it's reserve study appropriations.
Okay. Is it just possible there could be a little line at the bottom of that page or the top that just says what RSAR stands for those of us that aren't in it?
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other questions before we get started into the agenda? Okay. Hearing none, I see Colleen and Joe. You guys got anything you would like to say? Colleen Mull and Joe Sherrill, these are two of our three representatives for the county commission.
Good morning. No, except the mayor does send his regrets. He's doing a fellowship study, a leadership study.
Okay. Joe, anything? Okay. All right. In terms of the president's report, I'll give you a quick thing on Wyndham, and Mark will give you a little bit more detail. We know that Wyndham met with the deed holders 2 weeks ago, I believe, at the beginning of October. We still have not heard any outcomes of that as far as we know and what we've seen. There have been no filings in terms of bankruptcy. They've announced that they're going through Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but as of this date, we've not seen anything filed. So there's really not much more we can say about that until there's some action taken. We don't want to get ahead of actions that may or may not happen in the time frame that Wyndham has given us. So at this point, there's really not much more to really say about it. We do want to announce that as of October 1st, we were welcoming Liberty Senior Living to our Fairfield Glade community. That's the old Good Sam. We've had some initial meetings. A couple board members have talked to them, and operations have talked to them. They are property owners here, so we'll be trying to get together and get a little bit better relationship than what we even have with Good Sam between us and them. So, but they are here, and you can see their new sign up if you go up Catoosa. Over as you're going up, you look to the left, and you will see that it's the preserve at Fairfield Glade. So that is taking place, and that's happened in terms of October 1st. Want to also announce on Tuesday, November 11th, from 4 to 7, there will be the Veterans Dinner again this year. It was well attended last year. I expect it will be equally well attended this year. Those of you that are vets, you eat free that night. Those of you that are not, it's a $15 for the buffet. And please get your reservations in by November 7th. And there's a number that you can call. It's Amy Rogers. So if you haven't made your reservations, please do, because this will fill up. And there's going to be seatings every half hour from 4 o'clock until 7. So if you haven't gotten your reservations in, please do so as quickly as you can. I want to remind everyone that we have what we would consider really a major milestone meeting this year. on November 13th from 10 till noon. It's scheduled for the annual presentation of the budget to the membership. As you probably can well imagine, there's still a lot of questions floating around because of what's going on with Wyndham and things of that type. So even though we will have that meeting, we will tell you what we know, and we will put in the budget what we know at that point with some assumptions. And then finally, at the December 10th meeting, board meeting, is when the board will vote on that budget. So you'll have an opportunity to get your questions in, you'll have an opportunity to get your questions answered, and then we'll take action really on December 10th, okay? With that, I'm going to turn it over to the treasurer and the financial report.
Good morning, everyone. Overall, in revenue through September, we're behind schedule by approximately 6%, especially in amenity revenue to include golf, dining, the marinas, and the center. Assessment revenue is in line with estimates, and other revenue exceeded the budget again by approximately 6%. Food and beverage has seen a decline in the top line income and is currently behind schedule by 5% or $130,000. And just a little detail on that, in food and beverage, the snack bar revenue is tied closely to golf rounds. Obviously, we've said that for the last couple of months. Even though their total income this month was in the black, it's still below the budgeted amount. And as far as Stonehenge, the revenue was $245,000 over a budgeted $227,000, but cost of sales and payroll contributed to being over budget. In golf, we're down 1,550 rounds due to weather this month, and year to date is 14,650 rounds. So it hasn't been a good year as far as weather in golf. And as I said, food and beverage has seen the decline in the top line income, and golf has seen a precipitous decline in play for package and preferred rounds. September, they were even with budgeted, but year to date, they're down 270,000 rounds, and a lot of it is competition from other courses in the area like Bear Trace and Falls Creek Falls. Cost of goods sold are meeting expectations with a positive variance of $9.6 thousand. It was anticipated that cost of goods would be approximately $1.955 million for the year to date, and actual is $1.945 million respectively. Golf cost of goods are above expectations at 2%, and food tracking to exceed budget by approximately 2% or $20,000. Operating expenses, including the payroll, as the year progresses, spending allocated for later in the year, causing outsized positive variance has been utilized, and our positive variance is more in line with estimates. We are presently $56,000 below budget for overall spending. Net income for POA and amenities has a deficit of $655,000 against a budget through September 30th. In sewer and wastewater treatment, tap fees for sewer are exceeding budgeted expectations by 37%, and we are overall ahead of revenue targets by 36% or $150,000. Operating expenses, including payroll, there was a decline in payroll spending, which culminates in a savings of 16% or $141,000. Net income for sewer operations is overall $303,000 better than guidance, with net income at $560,000, and that's the report as of September 30th.
Okay. General Manager's report. Bill?
Thank you. Just want to give you a quick update on the Druid Hills Clubhouse progress. We had our latest on-site construction meeting with the team, which included our architect, Vic Jones, our general contractor, J&G, and the project management team. That was last Thursday, October 16th. The completion of the concrete foundation is in place. The retaining walls and structural steel erection is in progress as we speak. The wastewater and water drains are being installed and were actually pressure tested earlier this week. The stormwater drains are being installed. The main floor panels are ready for installation, and you'll see the steel columns are starting to be set for the rear of the building to support the roof structure. So the steel company was, some of the steel was late arriving and had some initial concerns that it might lead to some delays, but they have really performed and got on it and have made great progress. So all the submittals from the general contractor, as reported by the architect, are regularly received and in fact are ahead of schedule. And the critical path was thoroughly reviewed by, which is a critical path of construction, at the meeting, and was updated, and the job remains on schedule through this point. We also, the Firehouse number 1 and EMS building, we did, as you know, from the agenda item upcoming, we received final numbers on that project, and that will be further discussed and shared with you with the presentation of the car later in the meeting. Little on the food and beverage news, the Gold Circle event sold out for October, this coming Monday at Stonehenge Grill. They'll be scheduling another one in first of the year. As Greg noted earlier, please make your reservations for the Veterans Day dinner, because that is a very traditionally well-received and well-attended event. So we're going to make it a little more easier to access than it was last year with some of the waiting in line. Also, the Thanksgiving buffet is coming up on November 27th, and look forward to having a few additions and maybe a few pleasant surprises on that buffet presentation. So keep up for more details to follow on that, and we'll look forward to welcoming everyone for that. So some of the other I have will be covered later on in the meeting, but I wanted to give you those few updates.
Okay, Mark, resort report.
Greg kind of alluded to where we are right now as Wyndham. Tom, to your question, it's kind of been a weird year. It's an understatement. April was not where it usually was. It was off about 2 to 3%. September again, off about 2 to 3%. October is going about 10% higher than previous years. Why? I think it's nostalgia. People wanted to come here one last time. I don't know if they'll fall into November or not. It's tough to look at it right now and forecast, because our window is for like a 3-week booking period. So it's all, I personally, I don't feel it's going to be. I think the occupancy is going to go down. Of course, Thanksgiving it'll be crowded, and Christmas week will be crowded. But otherwise than that, it's going to be pretty slow at the end of the year. Wyndham will be closing at the end of the year. As Greg had mentioned, we had 2 weeks ago, we had 8 board meetings, 8 separate board meetings for a special meeting. They voted unanimously to close down the resort and file Chapter 11 and to be sold. And that's what I know as of today. Could change in 2 minutes, don't know.
I will add one thing on there, and probably important for people to understand. When you talk about the bankruptcy, it's not Wyndham going into bankruptcy, it's the HOAs. Okay, so there's a distinction there, and so it's not Wyndham that's going into bankruptcy, it's those 8 HOA organizations. Okay?
And real good point, because it is a rumor that
Yeah.
it is one Wyndham. It's Sterling Forest, Oak Knoll, Laurel Ridge.
And Tom, real quick, I've neglected in my wrapping up my general manager's report. I will get with Jeff and Linda on your questions you have and just follow up with you and the rest of the membership as we discussed at the top of the meeting. And so I don't want to misspeak, but I want to coordinate with them and get you that information, okay? All right.
Okay? All right, old business. Isaac, the fence policy, revised fence policy.
So both the revised fence policy and the parking policy, after discussion here on the board, we're sending both of those back to the ACC with some guidance for further review.
Okay. All right. Bill,
Okay.
food and beverage.
Get me queued up here. I have a little short slide deck that'll back up my comments so you can follow along. But just wanted to update everybody on the food and beverage operations and kind of what is our current situation, where we are, and how I'm going to be proceeding going forward.
Don't ask him to sing and dance, he will.
Okay, here we go. So can everyone see this? Well, I mean, I'll start out. This first page is nothing that we're not. So the current situation, as many of you are aware, and for those of you who are not, the Board of Directors in 2022, 2023 decided to enter into a third-party management agreement for the food and beverage. Ta-da! All right, we can go to slide 2. There we go. Entered into an agreement with an outside management company, Bobby Jones Links, and Bobby Jones Links has been managing and operating the food and beverage operation here under that agreement since February of 2023. We are now in the final year of that agreement. It expires in February of 2026. And while this structure's original appeal was that it offered third-party professional oversight of the food and beverage operation, it has resulted in mixed results, both financially and operationally. So, I have, and the board has agreed, has supported the decision to not renew our agreement with Bobby Jones Links at the end of its term. A lot of this is due to the uncertain financial environment that we are facing with regards to Wyndham, as well as other elements in the economy that we all are aware of. But I feel that we need, given that, better and greater in-house control of the food and beverage operation in order to be more responsive to the operational and financial needs going forward. We'll have direct oversight of the budget, the greater control over staff training, making sure that everything is aligned with what our objectives are for the food and beverage and culinary program going forward, and more direct in cost of labor and the like. So how do we improve going forward under this plan or this approach? So we're taking it back. I know you're not all familiar with me, but we're getting to know. I have extensive experience over the last 30 years in managing food and beverage operations successfully at some very fine properties. It's an area that I feel that I can bring some leadership to and some direction. And of course, Jason Lambert also has over 15 years experience in working with operations with internal food and beverage divisions within the operation. We'll have greater accountability to the membership, be more nimble and adaptable to the changing operational conditions, provide closer oversight and control of finances, and better control and response time to enhance what is working and eliminate what is not. We really, we are a lifestyle community. We want to embrace that and provide to the membership what it is that we're wanting our F&B program to be. I have a strong belief that food and beverage is the heart and soul of an operation at a property such as this, because everybody eats. Not everybody plays pickleball, not everybody plays golf, but we all gather with family and friends around a table and share food and fellowship, and that's one of the greatest social bonds there is. So that does carry over, and that is something we want to embrace and provide here as part of your member experience, because that's what it's all about, is the experience, in my view. So, with regards to that, in order to be successful, you have to have appropriate and hire the right professionals. And so I am actively recruiting a professional executive chef with experience in operating operations similar to ours, if not greater, that is, we look to have on board by no later than early February to be a part of that transition period. I do have an interim chef already aligned. The chef for Bobby Jones Links resigned, and they were in the midst of a search for a new chef, but given the decision that I knew was coming, it was not they would have a very difficult time, and we wanted to go ahead and take that control. So the interim chef will be starting next week on an independent contractor basis. So we look forward to that, and there'll be an introduction of Chef Greg once he gets on board. He'll be reporting here next Wednesday. And it just happens his name is Greg. I'm sorry.
It's not me.
Yeah, so we have a Greg Jones and now a Greg Smith. So Greg Smith. Of course, we will also have the food and beverage director, which will be over personnel management, inventory, beverage control. Linda James has expressed an interest in staying on board in that position, and we will be discussing that opportunity with her at the appropriate time in the near future. But she's certainly done her best and been in, I think, in my personal opinion, a difficult position at times when you're kind of having to wear two hats, so to speak. We look forward to rotating all of the employees. I met with all the employees on Tuesday and addressed this issue with them, because that was paramount, to meet with them first before, and of course we already had this on the agenda, as you were well aware, when we sent out the packet to share with you this morning. But it was important to meet with the staff. It was a very good meeting, and they will be, those that are in good standing and are doing their jobs well, and will be welcomed back into the Fairfield Glade family. We are looking to do some further restructuring that is dependent upon the approval of the budget, so I'll save a bit of that because we are going through the budget process. But I really think this will put us in a great position for the first of the year as we go forward, and particularly with the Druid Hills Clubhouse opening in September, early September, late August, early September of 2026. I do want to remind everyone that, again, just like many of our amenities here, that food and beverage is an amenity. It is subsidized as part of its operation in order to provide for it's what's being asked of it and the demands of it as part of our operation. We do not operate under a commercial restaurant model. We must be adaptable to the demands of the club and of the various events and things that are asked of our food and expected of our food and beverage operation at a property like this. And we look to expand upon those because it is a very important amenity that I think brings great value proposition to our members and to our guests. It'll be an in-house controlled labor model, cost of goods, so forth. We pretty much touched on a lot of that already. So plan for Stonehenge following Druid Hills opening in 2026. Again, the current schedule is that we will, the clubhouse will be completed about sometime in July. There's a lot of, at that point, parking lot redoing that needs to be done. So the clubhouse will be doing what's we call a soft opening in August, and then we'll be fully looked to open in September 1. At that time, Stonehenge will become a snack bar facility and serving the golfers for that time. It then, of course, as we know, Stonehenge Golf Course closes in 1st of November. And at that time, it will function in a variety of ways. We will see, and obviously offer leading up to that time, the opportunity for special functions, private functions that can be marketed, and you can book for private events if you like, club events at Stonehenge for special dinners and the like. I'm looking into Uber Eats. Jason Lambert, when he's here on these lonely nights at times without his family, was said, we should really be capitalizing it. It's a great point. So Uber Eats, we would look to use either the kitchen here or the kitchen at Stonehenge to serve as a satellite kitchen, if you will, that provides strictly an Uber Eats menu for delivery to your homes. It wouldn't be a full menu, but it would be a specialized menu. But I think it's a great service that I believe many of you is overdue and many of you would support. I'd like to give the Domino's delivery cars that we see a run for their money, okay? So, but I do think that's a great resource. It's a great service, and we really should improve upon that. And these are the kind of things that, again, as we move forward, is to being more accountable to the demands and also to grow through the experience and the member experience to grow that division under the direction of professionals. I really see an executive chef serving as a mentor to folks on our culinary team and now and into the future, to where they can learn a skill, a job skill, they can learn knife skills, culinary skills that provide them with a way of life, and also a skill set that if they venture out beyond Fairfield Glade and go and have opportunities elsewhere, that's a skill set they can take with them. And through HR, we'll be coordinating with various programs in the Crossville and Cookville area to reach out to allow that opportunity for those that are looking to come into the hospitality field, and particularly in culinary and in food service. So anyway, the future depends on you. We'll certainly look forward to hearing what the outcome may or may not be of a Wyndham transition or potential future with that, or any new partners. But in the meantime, this is your operation, this is your club, your community, and your support is needed for success. So with that, I think we have it opened up for questions.
Do we have any questions? Oh, you're right. Okay.
Tom Ratcliffe. Bill, thanks for all the hard work on this and the support of the board. I look forward to seeing it in action. A couple of questions. The first one would be regarding Druid Hills and the financials model that was actually done and given to us. Will that be updated to reflect this current change? And then my second question before, and I'll sit down. The old Food and Beverage Committee, or existing, however that is, are you working with anybody in particular, or are you going to form a committee to get additional input? As I've often said, we're a community of much experience, and this is going to be something that maybe we can pull down some of that experience. Thank you.
Yes, I certainly welcome, obviously member input. A House committee, I think, is what's typically referred to. Food and Beverage Committee, I'm not adverse to that. And certainly, I know the management team in Food and Beverage and myself wants that input and that dialogue with regards to operations. So we certainly can look forward to, once we get started, forming a committee for feedback on that. Will be additional surveying of all members as well. With regards to Druid, just like we're still going through the budget process, but the impact in that formal modeling that was done has been changed, because Wyndham is not, we can't count on that percentage of income, which is about 11% in food and beverage, and as well as the golf packages. Without housing, that's going to be still uncertain how many golf packages are still going to be available in the area here at Fairfield Glade. So we have made adjustments to that operation, and clearly the one of the main things is we will not be operating 2 restaurants next year at the same time. So we will look forward to growth and potential in the future, but for next year, no. Yes?
Please come up so everybody can hear you.
Deborah Sims, 129 Layden
Uh,
Drive. This is
Make
a-
sure you're talking to the microphone. 'cause
Oh, I'm
people-
sorry.
So everybody
Deborah
online.
Sims, 129 Layden Drive. This is a present issue at Heatherhurst. Apparently, the coffee pot went out several weeks ago. It has not been replaced. Yesterday, there was a 45-minute frost delay. The whole snack bar was filled with people. No coffee. Do you maybe have some influence to get a coffee pot over there? So, and everyone was told, or not everyone, apparently my husband asked one of the pros when the coffee pot would be replaced, and he said he didn't know, but maybe in January.
I think we can correct, I will personally look into that and
Thank you.
get you a
Thank
fresh
you.
cup of coffee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it's not me. It's my husband happens
no.
to work over there,
no, it's-
and he went to get a cup of coffee, and they said, "Sorry, the pot still is not fixed."
Okay, well,
Thank
we
you.
will get on that. Thank you for bringing it
Thank
to
you.
my attention. Did you put that on your list of questions there?
Ted Landers, 22 Amesbury Court. When the survey was sent out for Druid, the number one need that was identified by the members was for a private dining space to have parties and stuff like that. This was then changed without talking to the owners about it to an adult game room. Now that Wyndham is leaving, I think we really could use those 35 spaces that the adult game room takes up. And I think it would be a better use of the space. So I hope the board goes back and revisits that. We need it for meeting room space. We need it for people to play cards. I think this was a bad mistake by the board. And again, you say you listen to the members and it's up to them to decide. Members were very clear, it was number one choice, and yet it was torpedoed. So I hope you readdress it.
Okay.
Get my Orion Gary Fitch, 114 Knollwood Lane. First thing is just a clarification. You said that the clubhouse Stonehenge is going to shut down in November, basically. I just wanted to clarify, is it still going to be open this winter because otherwise?
Oh, yes. No, we're talking
Yeah.
this
okay,
time next
well,
year.
I just want to clarify
Yes,
that.
sir.
The other thing is, I eat there fairly regularly, and every time I go there, I get an emailed survey. And I have responded to that endless times. I've never heard, I mean, I might as well be dropping it down a black hole. There's no response, there's nothing. So, and nothing that I've ever suggested has been implemented, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay, well, that was, again, we'll look to improve upon that in-house as opposed to where those were going to Bobby Jones links, so.
Hi, I'm Pamela Nelson, 113 Devonshire Drive. All right. I just have a question. Are the employees still getting 50% off for all their meals at Stonehenge?
Currently,
Well, my thought is that's a very, very generous bonus. I don't think they'd have to have 50% off. They get to do a lot of the other amenities at a really great price. And it seems to me that if we weren't giving away half-price meals to employees, perhaps give them a 20% bonus. That would still be a nice bonus, but it's probably not going to be a money loser. And the other people I know that don't go, it's usually because of the prices there. And I'm just kind of curious, do we know like how much employee meals at 50% are generating compared to the general income of the restaurant? And if you were to stop giving those meals away at half price, maybe you could just lower all the prices 5% and you get more of the general public, you know, more of the members coming in like you'd like. So I just think, I think that's overly generous, and I think since we're losing money on it, it might be a good way to stop that drain.
yeah, I don't disagree with you. I know for me, my expectation of what that employee, food and beverage employee, or employees here in general, perk should be, and what it has been in my previous stops. So that is all part of the budget proposal and the changes for 2026.
To reduce it from the 50%?
To restructure it, it would be more a limited menu, limited offerings that are available to employees at specific times only. Because also, we want the kitchen focusing on the members and guests during peak time periods. So, I mean, all of that is again, to be going through the continued sausage maker, but we're just about there. And I think that in discounts overall, I mean, those are some healthy discussions, and discounts on a subsidized operation are a bit wonky, and so I think some of the justifications and what the point that Bobby Jones Links made, in fairness to them, was, okay, well, you have golf packages and you have Wyndham and so forth. This is what we're going to charge them, and then we're going to give a discount to members. Well, that's no longer, it's you. So that's the price. We're going to create value within our own members, but we're not competing, and you're up against. So a lot of that is being addressed and thoroughly discussed as part of the budget.
Oh, good.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, Frank Kazmierzak, 525 Lakeview Drive. I'm glad you're reviewing the parking policy. They should address it as mud mobiles. I don't want them all over the driveways.
We're on food
Flat
and
rock.
beverage right now.
What?
We're discussing food and beverage right now?
Just food and beverage?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll wrap up on that, and you'll have time at the end of the meeting to.
At the end of the meeting?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sorry for the confusion. You bet. Any other questions on food and beverage before we wrap up? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Diane Mueller, and I live at 124 Wycliffe Lane. And my question is, I know someone just stated that the food and beverage operations were the revenues were less than anticipated. But did they actually, were they in the red for 2024? Did they actually lose real money? And if so, how much?
The 2024 did operate at a deficit. I don't have those right off the top of my head. I can get those for you if you'd like. But with regards to, we were speaking to the snack bars are down in revenue in particular this year.
I'm more interested in Stonehenge, how much they lost, a real dollar loss last year. So
Okay.
if you could,
All
thank
right.
you.
All right, thank you.
I'm Keith Robinson, 118 Morris Lane, also a freelance reporter for the Glade Sun. What was Bobby Jones Link's input on the decision for the community club to take over control of food and beverage? Did Bobby Jones Links want to stay?
I don't know.
Does anybody know?
Well, the decision was made by the community club. It was not.
Right.
It was not a Bobby Jones decision.
I understand that.
So it was our decision to make, and it was more of we're telling Bobby Jones, then what do you think? Okay?
What was their reaction?
They were understanding.
Okay. So we don't know if they wanted to stay?
I would put it this way, that I don't think Bobby Jones or the community club were happy with the results.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate your time.
All right? Thank you, Bill. Financial Advisory Committee appointments. Mary Kay.
And I just want to clarify, the golf packages were $270,000 down, not rounds. On the Financial Advisory Committee, I am the board liaison to that committee, and for 2026, they were anticipating 3 openings on the committee, and only 1 opening coming up at the end of 2026. So to balance the turnover, Jeff Lewis, who is a currently sitting member, volunteered to extend for 1 year. So that is part of the approval process we'll be doing. We had 2 candidates apply, be interviewed by the committee, and were recommended to the board to fill the 2 seats for a 3-year term. The first candidate is Sue Epler, who has 23 years of experience in accounting and is currently still working as an accountant. She has served on several Fairfield Glade Community Club committees, including elections and strategic planning. The second candidate, Chuck Lehman, has over 40 years of audit, finance systems, operations, project management. He's a CPA and has specialized in conducting systems requirements, cost benefit analysis, funding alternatives, and procurement. At this time, I'd like to recommend Jeff Lewis to be extended for 1 year and to nominate Sue Epler and Chuck Lehman to be members of the Financial Advisory Committee, serving each a 3-year term.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, is there any discussion at the board level? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, they're seated. Since you're on a roll, MK, let's get
Yep.
into property
I'm on a
inventory
roll.
sales.
We're proposing a policy called Inventory Property Sales Policy, and basically it's memorializing the process we use to sell the club-owned properties, the ones we get back on voluntary lot transfers and that we buy back from the county. And this is just to memorialize the entire process, what we've been doing, so that it is now codified and we have a policy to refer people to when there are questions on club inventory lot sales. So this will be posted. We'll take comments until December 5th, and it will come back up on the December 11th agenda.
Okay? Amenity reserve fee policy.
Okay, the amenity reserve fee policy was turning into what we would call a Franken policy. It had been revised and revised and revised, and during all those revisions, language was getting dropped, and in some cases it was critical language. So one of the things I did was go back and get the original policy from December 13th, 2012, and all of the amendments that followed that through January 2015, May 2016, July 2019, and February of 2025 was the last time we amended it. With this language cleanup, all of the significant clauses from those policies were added back in, and you will see those as the first part of the policy. There are several clauses that were enacted in 2015 and 2019 that are applicable to all of those previous clauses, in that the member must provide evidence that he/she qualifies for the reduction, refund, or waiver under the circumstances identified in the previous clauses. The other clause that applies to all of those paragraphs we approved in 2025, and that was that the member had to be in good standing. The other thing that we're doing is adding language again to clarify to people about the amenity reserve fee, in the fact that it's non-negotiable as far as negotiating with the club on the fee. What happens in the sales transaction is not our concern, and that it's required regardless of the origination of sale. We're also introducing, which has been a practice of providing a waiver for builders who build more than 3 houses in a year, But that became a tracking issue. So what we're proposing is that builders receive a waiver if they meet a criteria of being in good standing, which means that they have been building houses in Fairfield Glade for more than 4 years and that they've had no ACO property standards violations within the past 2 years. That's an easy report to run. The other thing is codifying that the amenity reserve fee will be part of the budget approval process each year, in that we will review it, increase, decrease, whatever action needs to be taken from a budgetary standpoint will occur as far as part of the annual budget process. So this policy will also be posted, and comments need to be in by December 5th, and it will be on the agenda for the December board meeting.
And the policy review.
And obviously, you all are getting the idea that I do a lot of policy work and have done a lot of policy work. And my colleague, Scott Hartema, decided I needed a committee. So one of the things we've done is we're going to form a committee called the Policy Review Committee. And primarily, the committee will review current and proposed policies and documents, a lot of the club documents, for accuracy with language used in the CNRs and the bylaws, consistency with other policies documents, because a lot of these interact and impact each other, constancy in terminology throughout all policies and documents, uniformity in policy formats, and inclusivity of legacy policy language with revisions. Just like with the amenity reserve fee policy, we found that key clauses were being left out. This committee will be 5 to 7 members, and we're looking for folks who have a career history of active policy development, if you've had any experience in doing that, knowledge of HOA, POA, and possible experience on HOA, POA committees, either here or where you lived previously, and also some knowledge of state code for nonprofit corporations, because a lot of our policy is based on state code. So you'll start seeing the advertisement for this, and I hope you will all rush to join this committee because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
If I could just correct, it was stated that the finance review, budget review was November 11th. It's November 13th.
13th, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay? 10 o'clock.
I didn't want people showing up on the 11th.
Yeah. Okay, so approval of docks on common property, Isaac?
Yeah, so we have two docks that have been recommended for approval from the ACC. The first one is at 25 Bramlett Court for Robert Knapp, and I make a motion that we approve that dock.
I second.
Just so everyone knows, this is just normal work that we do, because any dock that goes on common property has to have board approval. The ACC is not empowered to do that approval, so that's why these are coming up, and it's very common practice. Anything on Glastonbury, for instance, has to come before the board, okay? Is there any other discussion at the board?
Yeah, and then so we have the second dock, which is at 12 Admiral Circle for Daryl Couric.
Well, let's do the first one first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay? And then we'll get to the second one, okay? Is there any other discussion on the dock at Brambleton Court? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now.
Okay, thanks, Greg. All right, so the second dock is at 12 Admiral Circle for Daryl Couric, and I make a motion that we approve that dock.
I second.
Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And I already mentioned that we're taking this one, the private road sign off the agenda today, because we need to find out some more information about that. All right. One other thing I would announce in terms of things that are going to be up, we've been working almost 2 years now on the bylaws to make recommended changes to that. That is going to be posted, and it'll be up for a vote to the board at, depending on what we get in terms of comments on December, at the December board meeting. So it'll be up on the website so that you can take a look at it and make comments or whatever you want to do with that. So that'll be going up fairly soon too. All right? Now.
And Greg?
Yeah.
The changes will be easy to see, right?
Yes.
They'll be in red.
They're all marked.
Okay.
Okay? Fire and EMS station number 1. Mr. Evans.
Morning.
Good morning. I'm Bruce Evans, Director of Public Works, and this is Greg Reppert, Project Manager, Community Maintenance. This morning I'm going to be presenting a car for the construction phase of the EMS, Fire and EMS Station 1 building. But before I do that, there's a short slideshow to help me explain how we've gotten to this point. Back in 2023, sometime in 2023, Fairfield Glade entered into a land swap agreement with the declarant. That land swap gave the land that's now Druid Hills driving range to Fairfield Glade, and Fairfield Glade in exchange gave the land under the existing fire station to the declarant. And so Fairfield Glade had a need for a new fire station, and this slideshow will explain how we've gotten to this point. Next, there we go. So the original budget estimate, money set aside, already committed, was $3.5 million for the project. So in order to facilitate the current needs and future needs of both fire and EMS, the building that was proposed is about 8,000 square feet. It's going to house both the fire and the EMS. We put together a scope of services for engineering. We bid that out, and 2 engineering firms responded with bids. The low bid going to AEI Architects out of Cookville for $150,000 with $7,900 for incidental costs. They were chosen. Design started. Peter Metz of AEI started design of the building. We had some site work done, and we put together, after about 40% of the drawings were complete, we put together a scope of services for pre-construction services to be bid out to contractors, general contractors. So the general contractors would continue to work with the engineer on the design, as well as look for ways to stay within budget. So this is what we bid out to 7 different general contractors. 2 general contractors responded with a bid. One of them was disqualified for not including all the information that was required in the bid specs. And so Stubbs Construction out of Crossville was chosen. His bid of $1 for pre-construction services was awarded to him. And so for the last 2 months or so, 3 months, Stubbs Construction has been working on the completion of the design of the building and then sending out bids to multiple contractors to be subs on the job. So this is a rendition of the building as it's proposed. Fire on the left, 3 bays, EMS on the right. And the color white we're going to keep. It's not an amenity building, it's an emergency services building, so we're going to keep it as white. That's been agreed upon by the ACC. The building location, I'm sure everybody's familiar with, at the intersection of P-Line and Catoosa, where all the trees are gone. Here's a floor plan, and that doesn't really do it justice. This is difficult to see, but the fire is on the left there. So that's a double bay for the fire trucks. fire apparatus, etc. There's a kitchen, laundry services, bunk rooms for future use, offices, and a meeting room on the fire side. And then on the EMS side is the garage on the right for the ambulances, emergency service vehicles, bunks in that section as well, kitchen, and a small meeting room is in there as well. So under roof is about just over 8,000 square feet. So this is it's difficult to see, but these are the new numbers that were received by Stubbs Construction when he bid out all of the required work to the subcontractors. The total for Stubbs is $2,791,543. The total car that I'm presenting this morning is $2,901,543, of which $110,000 is for in-house services. So in-house labor is gonna be required we have to move all of the existing equipment that's still in use and gonna be continued in use in the new building from the fire station to the new building. We've got quotes on that, and that's $20,000. Some of the more delicate equipment that's in the fire station. $45,000 for IT, and that's cameras, that's Cat 5 cables, that's all of the communication cables, as well as all the required antennas per the fire code, I guess. $35,000 to upgrade the existing building. Hopper's building is in back of that site. It's an old steel building where the old batch plant used to be. That building's going to be rehabilitated with paint and insulation on the inside and new electric service. That'll become storage for some of the equipment of the fire department. $4,500 for additional landscaping around the entire site outside the limits of the actual contract with Stubbs. And so that's all the way down from Peavine up and around that Hopper building, as well as the connexes. So those training connexes will receive a new paint job. They'll match the same color as the Hopper building and the new building. And then $5,500 for the installation of the grinder pump. So it's a bargain price, but it's $5,500. So, any questions?
Well, before we get to questions, I'm going to, Kirk, Dave, Pitch, anybody, you guys want to say anything? These are our fire department partners here.
Well, first, I want to thank the community club, the board, the senior management team for all the work that's been put in on this. A lot of people have been working a long time to make this come together. This is going to be a very functional building for us, and it's going to enable us to take a step forward in the service we provide. This is going to go a long way towards taking us to the next level. So I appreciate everybody's help on this. Thanks.
Chief Kirk, I'd just like to add, this committee put a lot of hours in, a lot of hard work between the fire department and the Fairfield Glade Community Club team, a lot of iterations. Fantastic job, and it's been a pleasure working with you guys, and I'm excited about the groundbreaking, getting this thing going, so appreciate all the work you guys done.
Okay, now, are there any questions? Come on up.
My name is Janelle Dundar. I live at 13 Mott Haven Court. My question, because when I see the fire and EMS come, everybody comes in their own cars. So when you say next level, does this mean when I see the bunk rooms that you're going to have EMS and fire people 24/7 living in there, that it's not going to be empty?
EMS will be 24 hours. Fire will still be on a volunteer basis, but future fire needs may justify having full-time firefighters.
So currently it will be half filled.
One of the
EMS.
big questions as we were designing the building was future growth. And as we grow as a community, being able to have the ability to, if the time comes, to have in-house people staying. I think, Chief, you're planning on somebody, the engineers possibly being there. You want to give an update on that?
My goal from the day this opens is to have an engineer there 24/7 so that they can respond. That should cut our response times in half.
So when you say engineer, somebody who is overseeing
Driving the
the
truck.
response to the homes, okay.
They'll respond
So
from the station
currently,
instead of coming from home to the station to get the
right,
truck.
okay. No, that's important to understand because, you know, you see people come in their own cars and so we need to know that you're hoping, we're looking to the future, hopefully that happens and we're not just building something that,
And the other bunk room is probably going to be occupied occasionally for the EMR responders. Because they'll be
Occasionally.
more centrally located. So both of those bunk rooms are probably going to be used.
okay, it's a beautiful building and I hope that we can get there because, I mean,
I'm very
Yeah.
happy with
yeah, it
what's
is
come together.
beautiful, but I want to understand that, yeah, because what I see and what you're building, I hope, yeah, okay.
Chief, on the floor plan that was shown, where are your members going to train? In that area, that's sufficient for the training functions that you do? Good, good. Okay, thank you for that. Last question, Bruce, and it's probably to the board, and that is, how are we financing this? We had options when it was originally presented, including the declarant possibly providing a sale leaseback, I believe, on this. I may be sketchy on my terms and memory, but.
That was if we kept the current building.
Okay, so then how are we paying for this?
Jason?
So nothing's been set in stone, but what we are doing is looking at options. Originally, I think that the capital budget called paying cash for the building, but we are going to look at other options with our lending institutions to see if there are possibilities that make sense in reference to financing it as well. It will be in the budget if we decide to finance. So you'll see a transparent as well as you did with Druid.
Any other questions?
When is groundbreaking scheduled for?
Groundbreaking is scheduled for November the 3rd.
We will be sending out a invite for a groundbreaking ceremony that to all of our members in the fire community, local leaders, board, et cetera, just like we did for Druid Hills, and we'll look forward to getting that date secured leading up to mobilizing. So stay tuned for that because it's short order.
I'll restate that, Ted. Construction starts November 3rd. The groundbreaking ceremony has not been scheduled yet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Does the fire department just service Fairfield Glade?
Can we have your name, please?
Debbie Sims, 129 Layden Drive.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to defer that to the fire chief.
Need the mic,
Please
for
come out.
Chief.
We have a mutual aid agreement with county fire and with city fire. And we respond to help that they need and they respond to any help that we need.
So since we're out in the county, does the county have a fire department any place close to here?
Well, they have a substation right there on Peavine behind the boat dealership.
By the recycling.
By the recycling.
By the
Oh.
recycling.
Okay. I guess my question is, we're talking about financing, and even the communities around us have grown. And I was wondering if any attempt has been made to do any kind of something with the county so we could possibly get federal funding on this. Since, obviously there is a reciprocal agreement with the city and the county. But if we made a formal agreement with the county, because, I guess city limits are not really that close. I know they're down by the boat place, and I'm not too sure exactly where all the city land, markings are. But if we did something with the county, I think it might lighten our load, plus the fact it would open us up to having some younger people, not to say that older people are not capable, but it would give us the opportunity to have some younger people as volunteers.
So I think it's 4 people in my department that are also on the county department.
Okay.
And we train with them, we do mutual aid with them.
Mm-hmm.
We're
So
pretty
why not
involved.
make it some sort of a collaboration between the two, an agreement with the two, as opposed to a handshake, to open us up for more funding from the county, the state
county
possibly.
The county struggles with funding just like everybody else does. And they do what they can with what they have, and that's the same way we do it.
So, and we'll point out, the county through Colleen Mull's help did make a contribution to the building, being that the EMS will be stationed there. So they did make a $30,000 contribution to the construction of the building.
They did contribute towards.
But wouldn't that open up for some sort of possibly funding from the county or through the county, and possibly even up to the state?
Well, I'll let the fire board talk, but you do get funding from the county, or seek funding at least on an annual basis, right, David?
Yeah, we get $30,000 a year from the county.
But that's kind of a drop in the bucket compared to what this is going to cost. And to have all the residents here shoulder that, I think is, that's a lot to put on. I mean, we've got a clubhouse that's going to cost us almost $20 million just to build, and, over the life of it, it's going to cost probably, with interest and everything, about 40. And here we have something that's extremely important, more important than a clubhouse, that, I don't know, 2 million or whatever. Money doesn't grow on trees, even though we keep a lot of our trees here.
I'm Dave Corcoran, I'm the president of the board. I don't
Okay.
disagree with you whatsoever, but the relationship, we have a good relationship with the county. Colleen Mall, Joe Sherrill back there are big supporters of us, and they do on an annual basis contribute. Last year was 35,000. Last year was 35. This year it's going to be 37,000.
Okay.
For general needs for the fire department.
Okay.
As Kurt said, we do mutual aid with them. We have a working relationship with County Fire. Cumberland County is about a population of 60,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's only 2 fire departments there. There's 3. There's Crossville for the city, there's Cumberland County, and there's us. So we're separate. We have the second biggest population center inside the county, which is Fairfield Glade.
Mm-hmm.
When we actually decided years ago, we had conversations to launch the EMR program, which is being funded by all of us in the community, plus the community club. We've had conversations with the county for potential support, and they asked us when we get it going to come back and talk to them. So we have an ongoing relationship with them. But at the end of the day, it's all about money.
Sure.
It's all about taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a good working relationship with them, but we are independent of them. The closest one they have is what Scott said, is right by the recycling center.
Okay.
Now, it's unmanned. And what that means is when you call 911, our stations are up here, so we'll get there much quicker.
Sure.
We gave it to the county, that's the problem, they're down there. You know, they're not close enough. I think the decision was made probably by the community club many, many years ago, that we needed an independent, not independent, we needed a fire service locally here, given where we are geographically.
Sure.
And that's where we've been for a long time. But our conversations with the county are always continuing in terms of, you know, we ask them, they help us with supplies. A lot of the capital they give us every year goes to equipping our fire department. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure the county really could take it over.
Well, opening doors, you know, and I don't know if we could even appeal to the state, because I don't know if, like, fire departments have to have certain accreditation with the state or something like that. But possibly, you know, opening doors for some additional funds to come in.
What we do internally in the department, and as we continue to grow, we look for federal grants from
Okay.
FEMA. We got a grant last year from, I believe, Colleen with the state for $19,000. We've got a FEMA grant out there right now pending for about $85,000. But we have grant writers inside the department.
Sure.
So we're continuing looking into this. This will probably open up greater for us with our EMR operation, which will launch early in 2026. And that opens up a whole world of grant opportunities for us.
Okay.
Which is a big way that the department's funded.
I mean, it's something I
Okay,
know
so
that we need.
I don't want to cut you short, but we're really
Yeah.
talking about the building and then we're getting into the fire department operations, and maybe we can set up a separate session to get more of an education and Q&A about that. So,
Okay.
thank
No
you.
problem. But thank you for your question.
Other questions?
Diane Mueller, 124 Wycliffe. What road does the station front on? And is it amongst the golf holes? Are we going to have any safety concerns as far as cart paths?
No, if you know where Catoosa and Peavine, the intersection of Catoosa and Peavine, if you turn on to Catoosa, it's right on the right-hand side right there.
Okay, so it's not
So
near
it's
the
going to be
Druid-
it's going to be
Maintenance road.
almost 45-degree angle towards Maintenance Boulevard and Catoosa.
Okay,
So the emergency vehicles will come out onto Catoosa right there where there's an island.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to approve the car.
Is there any other questions?
Any other questions? Yeah.
Then we're looking for a motion to approve the
I
contract.
will, what was the total amount?
$2,901,543.
I make a motion to approve that we approve the request as stated by Bruce.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, cars passed. Thank you.
Yep. One more comment related to fire. Just recently, you did get the MOU signed, right, for the MR program?
Our board has approved it, and we've given it to the county attorney, and we're
Okay, very good. And we look forward to that being signed, and we're going to set up something in December with the county to do a formal signing of that document. So congratulations on progress.
Okay, any other remarks by board members?
Well, if I'm not a board member, but I can follow up. Diane Miller, your question regarding last year, the Stonehenge Grill operation in 2024 as its own, separate from the rest of the food and beverage operation, operated at a deficit of $564,000.
Any other comments from the floor?
Beth Jones, Hickory Ridge Lane. I, for one, am glad you're sending the fence policy back to the ACC yet again. Everybody I've talked to could care less whether a fence is seen from the road, most of them from the front or maybe 15 feet. Two things that you need to consider. First of all, that not to require plants. Second thing is some better definition of an evergreen, because there are many, many shrubs that keep their leaves all year round that would also hide a fence if you choose to go that direction. And those need to be considered too. I mean, to me, an evergreen is a pine tree or something that's green all year round. But there are other shrubs that certainly could be used to hide a fence. And the other thing you need to consider, and I don't know if you want to put it in the policy, are, well, one other thing, is it from the front view of the house, or is it from like a corner lot? A neighbor of mine has a corner lot, and you can see his entire fence from the street. So is it going to be from the front, from the side, or whatever? And the other thing you need to consider is, what are you going to do about existing fences?
Okay, thank you.
Please make sure that you do make your comments if you haven't already on.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
She has submitted.
Phil?
I might need help getting back up again. But
I understand.
I had hip replacement surgery 2 weeks ago today.
Oh.
So it's been a fun 2 weeks. Thanks for allowing me to do this. Phil Smith, 144 Hickory Ridge Lane in Fairfield Glade. Two things I'd like to talk about quickly. One is that on October 4th, we had the first annual meeting outside of Decatur for the Volunteer Energy Cooperative membership, their annual meeting. And it was held at Stone Memorial High School here in Crossville. And it was very successful. We had about, thank you, we had close to 1,000 people that attended that. And it was very informative, an opportunity to interact with the members and share some of the plans for the future. So we're very happy with that, and hopefully we can convince the board to have it here again next year. It's the first time it's ever been outside of Decatur in 89 years, so that was an important thing. So thank you for your support of that. The second thing I want to talk about is the long-awaited dedication for the Veterans and First Responders Memorial is scheduled for the November 15th at 1 p.m. It's a Saturday, and we are nearly complete with everything that needs to be done. That will be the raising of the flags, the first time that the flags will fly over the memorial, and everything should be completed by that time. So we're very pleased with that. And I think that those of you that have been to it, to see it, I think that we've gotten a lot of positive feedback on that. It's going to only get better as we proceed. We will be, we're meeting with our architect in the next few weeks to talk about the second phase. Once we get that worked through, we will have a town hall meeting sometime probably early next year to talk about the second phase and what that's going to be and how that will augment the Flag Plaza. But the Flag Plaza is definitely the main star within the memorial. It focuses on individuals, recognizes first responders and veterans and their service to our community and our country. And I think it's something that all of us will take a great deal of pride in. So again, that's on November 15th at 1 p.m. And we'll have an opening ceremony, and hopefully you can come and be a part of that. So thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Questions?
I just would encourage everyone, if you haven't been down to that memorial, it's well worth the trip. It's right there by Robin Hood Park, and it's pretty impressive what Phil and the committee has really done. Thank you for all that work. Let him get out first. Okay.
A few things. First, in the budget reports or the budget meeting that's coming up, will the budget presentation be sent out in advance so we can look at it, prepare our questions and so forth? Okay. The focus group, Bill, thank you for setting that up and for that opportunity. I believe, at least from the group I participated in, it was well attended. I hope you get a lot of good feedback on it. You mentioned, or it was mentioned as far as with golf and the revenues being down, competition in the area. And I think as you're going through the budget portion, I'm hoping that you're really taking a good look at that revenue side of it. You've said for years you're pushing that revenue side a little bit, and maybe it was pushed too far in terms of increases in the rounds and so forth. So I'm hoping you've got some feedback on that. Our attorney always seems to run out at the end, but my question to him that I would have, or a comment, has he ever done a compliance audit? And can he address it and talk about it? Since really, he should be doing it to begin with, and, you know, just as a matter of course. But he never does, and he's never here. So the amenity reserve fee structure, I bring that up again since you're revisiting it. Greg, I shared with you examples across the country where it's not just a fixed fee and how that could work, but you keep coming back and saying it's not legal. It's not legal. Haven't heard anything from our attorney, obviously, but it's across the country, other than a fixed dollar amount, and the funds can be used as they're deemed. So I'm again asking that question: why don't we look at it? Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to address what Tom asked in reference to golf. And, you know, I think Bill would concur that have done, and Jeff mainly, we have taken a very actual and conservative approach to rounds, which is our driver for revenue in golf. And when you see the budget in the presentation, you'll see that it is a realistic structure and not just a plug number to make the budget balance.
Gary?
Gary Fitch, 114 Knollwood Lane. I want to talk about the financial statements. And Greg, I know you and I talked a couple of months ago about this. Just to give you, everybody else, a little, people that don't know me, a little background. I'm a CPA. I was one of the charter members of the Financial Advisory Committee, and I served on that committee for 5 years. And one of the things that we did was we made an effort to make the financial statements more understandable for the average person, people out here that aren't necessarily accountants or CPAs. And what we came up with, I think, was a fairly good set of financials. However, what we're getting today, you know, I look at this as a transparency issue more than anything, because you owe us as residents the ability to look at your operations and see what's going on and where we're making money, where we're losing money, what's going on. And in my opinion, I understand it's different, and you've done some things here, some of which are good, okay? But as a whole, it doesn't really fulfill the obligation of presenting your financial position accurately and something that's easily understandable. Okay, let me give you some specifics here. The budget, the balance sheets, for starters, are absolutely useless to the user. What we're interested in is operations and income and expenses. okay? And really, the balance sheet is nothing more than a snapshot of what we own, what we owe at a moment in time. I mean, this balance sheet is now 3 weeks out of date, so it's no longer accurate, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. The income statements. Income statements should include the budget. Should be a column for the budget numbers, right next to the actuals.
You have 1 minute left, Mr. Pitt.
I'm sorry?
You have 1 minute left.
Ah, okay. There used to be detailed statements for food and beverage and for golf. And so all the numbers that Mary Jane read off a while ago in her report are all there. You know, we could read those numbers. We don't need somebody to recite them, and then that's all the information that we have is what she just said. So what I'm looking for is those should be reinstated. Okay. The variance, that's a good thing. This income variance report, it's a very good thing. But what you've done here is you've kind of gone overboard. I mean, I just basically glanced at this thing, and there's a thing here for repairs and maintenance, for example, where the variance is $7,000, but it's 49% of the budget. Okay, which is why it's on here.
That's 3 minutes, sir.
Okay. But you have to remember that this is, you're talking about $7,000 in a $19 million budget, $19 million of revenue. It's meaningless. You need to clean that up.
Thank you.
Is it time now?
It's time.
Frank Kazmierzak, 525 Lakeview Drive. I'm glad you're sending back the golf cart issue. We don't need all that crap on our driveways. With flat rock coming in, it's going to be a mess. It'll turn this town into a mess. The other thing is lot mergers. The rules are very vague. The only thing that's clear is the cost. If you want to merge a lot, it's up to the board. I think the rules should be clear. If you own property, you should be able to buy 1, 2, or 3 lots adjoining your property. It's not clearly written at all. Am I right? A lot merger depends upon how you all feel.
Well, I think my understanding, and again, I'm not an attorney. is
Isaac,
sorry.
please talk into the microphone.
Okay.
So
The-
people can hear you.
Whether you merge the properties together or not is something you do with the county, not board here. What you're asking for is whether or not they will allow you to not pay individual dues on those parcels.
Correct.
So, but I agree, yes, a clearer policy would be.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Joe Fitzgerald, Trentwood Drive. I just want to comment on Greg's policy change as far as questionings and all. I think that really works out really well. My only question is, I presented twice to the board regarding some policies in the road and all that. Do I have to, should I re-question them, or am I on the list?
No, as I told you, when you were here last month, I believe.
Yeah.
We've had a couple meetings with the county.
Okay,
With Superintendent of Roads, with our commissioners, with our people, and also the chairman of the planning committee. And we're trying to get the rules of the road understood, if you will, for everyone.
No, that makes sense.
And it's gonna take some time because we're talking about a whole lot of different things. And my promise to you was that we'd get back to you when we have answers. We don't have all those answers yet.
Right, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't have to go back on the list or something.
We
My
have
other-
yours.
And in fact, we had a discussion earlier in the month about a Roads 101 course. Because, I mean, for me, there's a lot of great information that these two have received from other people. But once we connect the dots, it would behoove all of us to understand how those decisions are made and how we can try to influence the people who make roads decisions. So we are looking at doing something like a roads one-on-one, but I think that the time that it takes to get all the mayors and commissioners.
I
and
appreciate that. No, I
that-
understand. That's great. Thank you very much. But I'd like to digress a little bit and the comment about our employees and their discounting and all of that. I think that's a fair benefit to give them for what we pay them, for what we ask them to do in their work schedules and that. And in actuality, the club saves money. We save money on income, Social Security, we save money on income tax fees, et cetera. So by giving a benefit of a discount in the long run, and I think it makes the golf course managers and Jeff and his staff easier to retain employees when you have another thing to offer them, which I really think is saves us money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Pat McIntyre. I've lived in Fairfield Glade for approximately 10 years. I'm an avid tennis player, and I also love to play golf. I'm here to talk a little bit about tennis. I want to read a little presentation, and I got to give credit to Catherine Henderson, who put this together, who is also an avid tennis player. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to read it. Unfortunately, this board has systematically been diminishing the tennis amenity for the residents here. The courts at Dorchester are gone. The courts at Druid are gone. 2 courts inside the Racket Center are gone. What's left are 4 outside clay courts that will be closed due to the weather, 2 inside courts, and 1 part-time court. We recently found out that our ability to reserve courts is being severely hampered. People like myself who captain groups that help keep the Racket Center busy with players are being punished because pickleball must have access to our inside tennis courts. And even though their groups are growing, we must now cut back on courts so pickleball can play. I feel reasonably sure that the Glade POA does not support using amenities for things other than what they are designed for. As an example, if we got a group together to play disc golf every day, would you close a golf course so they could play disc golf? I doubt it, especially in the winter when there's only a couple of courses open. But every day you allow pickleball players to limit the amount of time tennis players can spend on our inside courts or how many players we can have in our groups at one time. Last year, we gave Bill Ward a petition with 100 signatures protesting the irrational decision to line 3 courts with pickleball lines. We were told that Court 3 would be an overflow court when Court 4 was too busy, and that 2 pros would use Court 3 for lessons because the noise inside with 4 courts.
You have 1 minute left, ma'am.
I just have 1 minute left. Oh boy, I got to speed up. Additionally, we were told that all 4 pickleball courts, oh gosh, I lost my train of thought, sorry. Additionally, we were told that all 4 pickleball courts on Court 4 needed to be used first, and then Court 3 would be used. Neither of those situations has held true. The pickleball players do whatever they want, whenever they want, including walking on the courts while tennis is still in play. Tennis players are now limited to reserving 4 courts per week. There are 20 captains for tennis. We schedule players locally and regionally to play at our facility every week. We bring in revenue for Fairfield Glade and are now being forced to either give up our play because no one wants to schedule courts or lie about what we're scheduling. In fact, we have been encouraged by management to put other people's names on our scheduled play dates in order to meet the 4-court maximum. This year, pickleball will be at the Racket Center every day from 7:30 to 7 p.m.
That's 3 minutes, ma'am.
I'm done?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you do have more than, pardon me, if you do have other things you want to say, please send whatever document you have in, and we'll make sure that the board gets it, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right,
Jerry Miller, 185 Berkshire Loop. I got a couple of questions. I did send 3 questions in advance, haven't been answered, but that's okay. I want one answer, one question here. One has to do with the $5,000 amenity fee. The original intent of that was theory that it's the down payment of the buyers on amenities have been paid for by other people. That was the theory, to be paid for by the buyers. It's my understanding now that the buyers are not paying it and the sellers are having to pay it directly or shared or by reduction in the home price. So if that's the case, I don't know if it is, that's what people keep telling me. If that's the case, then the theory is no longer there and is now just a revenue question paid by the people that weren't intended to pay for it to begin with. I'm requesting that perhaps the board may want to look into that and verify if it is true. If the sellers end up paying that, maybe there's some adjustments that have to be made to that idea.
Well, this came up in the annual meeting, it's come up in other venues.
Okay.
And the intention of the board was to have the buyer pay it. Now, real estate transactions are between a buyer and a seller. Whatever they do in terms of figuring out how they want to construct their transaction is up to them. What the intention of the board was is to have people who have coming into the community, because we've made investments, people that have been here for a long time. And what we're trying to do is have the buy-in, if you will, for the people that have not made those investments but are going to get the benefit of moving into the community where the amenities are. I can't tell you, Jerry, about what actually happened. I can tell you what the intent was, and though each one of those transactions is between the buyer, the seller, and we won't get in the middle of that.
I don't think, Greg, I don't think you have to. You got to start answering questions. You don't have to get in the middle of it. All I'm saying is that the intent when it was adopted and approved by this board was that the buyer will pay. The burden has been shifted to the seller, from what I understand. Now, that's not getting in between anything. It's just saying if the intent is no longer there, other than the revenue issue, then perhaps the board may want to adjust that somehow or another to make sure that the seller in all this process doesn't get screwed. That's all. I'm not a seller, I'm just.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
1 minute.
Question.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Another question.
Yeah.
That's why I don't come. It's so frustrating. In early September, I asked you for a legal opinion on whether or not the interval seat can survive after January or December 31st. You said you're looking into it.
And we are.
You are.
And the fact of the matter
now,
is.
wait a minute, let me finish. Let me finish my question, okay?
Okay.
In early October, or mid-October, I asked the question again. The answer was, we're looking into it. We're running out of year. I would want a legal opinion to be able to see by our attorney, see the opinion on whether or not the interval seat can survive after December 31. I maintain it cannot. I maintain that I have given you a theory for how that can be transferred into a director-at-large seat, a fifth one, and how it could possibly be done. You keep saying we're looking into it.
That's
How
3
long
minutes,
does the
Jerry.
attorney need
That's
to
3
look
minutes.
into it? We need it, when we're going to hear
Jerry,
about it.
we will get.
When
everyone
are we
of
going
it-
to hear about it, Greg?
I'm sorry, your time is up. We will get you the information when we know. And the fact is, right now, is we've had a lot of announcements, I shouldn't say a lot, several announcements on what Wyndham's going to do. But the fact of the matter is, we don't know yet because they've done nothing.
Why don't you call the CEO of Wyndham and find out?
Thank you,
Your
Jerry.
peers, your
Thank you.
peers.
Time's
Thank
up.
you. Thank you.
Just as a comment to what he was saying, I believe that the increase in the amenity fee was to fund the reserve study. That was the intent of the amenity fee increase.
No.
What?
No, it was not. It was actually a recommendation from the Strategic Planning Committee that the board acted on.
And it's a fairly common practice.
Right.
No,
in-
I'm not arguing
right.
about having it at all. I believe that that was the way we could fund the reserve study.
That's why we call it amenity reserve, is fund amenity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bill, I have a question for you. There's a sign that looks like a sign being installed at Four Corners, which is Peavine and Stonehenge. Do you know about that, what that is?
Yes.
Would you mind sharing with us?
It's a sign that it was agreement with the declarant to put a sign, there'll be a digital sign promoting events at Fairfield Glade.
Okay, thank you.
And things like notices if something's canceled for rain or storm.
Appreciate it. Just nice to know. A couple meetings ago, Commissioner Colleen Mall asked for the board support on the county increasing the fee to cover costs, and I believe it was for permitting costs for the county in order to help defer that. And I haven't heard anything from the board about that. Did the board support that or not?
Yes, we did support it, and it was voted down at the commissioners' meeting.
Okay. And did the board actually vote on that, or how did that occur?
Yeah, we talked about it in here. Colleen brought it up.
Okay.
We talked about it as the board. We did write a letter supporting both of those actions, and both of them were turned down.
All right, thank you. Because I just don't remember a vote by the board on that. I remember her discussing it, but I don't remember a vote by the board. And then the last month's I didn't look at this one. The last month's financial on page 15, the first line under contingency showed 170 lots were purchased from the county for 28,000 plus, which I don't have a problem with. But where does that show up when we sell them? How do we know that we're getting our money back from this?
So it would show up on a gain or loss on the from the balance sheet. So it becomes a balance sheet item once we get them in, and then depending on how much we sell them for, we record it as a gain or loss and flow it through the income statement.
Okay. And there was a comment earlier which may have answered one of my questions: is if the declarant is asking for these and we sell them to the declarant, does the declarant then, or anybody else who buys it, pays the amenity fee on those pieces of property?
So, Ellen, do you want to address that?
I believe it's in the CNRs that we don't pay that fee. We pay dues on the lots that we own.
Ultimately, the person
We pass that on to the person who moves into the house the same way
Ultimately,
that
the
any
person
other
that we're
person
really
is.
trying to get to pay that fee is who buys the home.
Yeah. So the other home builders, and I heard this saying here, if they've been here 4 years, so are they also getting that same benefit of not paying the amenity fee because we're doing it?
That's part of the policy that's being posted, yes.
Okay. So just, because I just think that it should be a level playing field for all the builders.
And that's one of the reasons why we're looking at changing the
Yeah, it
policy.
was formerly called a frequent builder program. It had some difficulty that arose as a result of it, unintended, that were difficult for staff to manage and monitor. So that's what was the revision was being made. But yes, that has always been available to qualified builders.
Okay. And as part of that, will there be kind of like an endpoint that if somebody buys the lot that they have to do it within
it's to
2 years,
relieve
3
that
years?
cost on builders as part of their margins to have to come up with that money every time that are good builders and that do good work in here. So.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yep.
Deborah Sims, 129 Layden. In reference to the amenity fee, and I don't know if this is possible, but could the community club bill the buyer separately and take that part out of the real estate transaction? And the reason I'm saying that is because apparently, as somebody had said, the sellers are ending up paying that, which is really not fair to them because they have contributed already, but it would make it a separate thing. And since it's an amenity fee, that is something that the community has, not really part of the real estate transaction.
Well, it is part of the closing costs, okay? And
Well,
that
but
closing
to
cost-
separate it, because that fee goes directly to the club. So it
goes-
should be a club fee separate from,
It goes into the closing costs, and that's the way the transaction is done. So
but it should be
it's
separate.
It's up to the buyer and the seller to determine who's going to pay those fees.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, just like every year, we pay our maintenance fees. That goes to the club. So this is an amenity fee that goes directly to the club. So if you take that part out of the real estate transaction, then the buyer would be totally responsible for it and not make it part of the real estate transaction.
Well, it's more complicated than that, because if you read the policy in its entirety, we allow members here, if you buy another home within 12 months, you don't pay those fees.
I understand that.
So there's a lot more to it than just simply where it goes. But I understand what you're saying, and we'll talk about it, and we'll see if there's something that can be done. But by and large, in any real estate transaction, matter of fact, in any transaction where you have a buyer and a seller, the buyer and the seller work out how that's
I
gonna
understand that. I sold real estate for many, many years, so I understand what real estate's all about.
Good.
And hopefully most people do, but apparently it becomes a bargaining point. So in all fairness, since it is a fee that is supposed to be paid by a new owner,
Okay.
then if it could be separated out, it makes more sense. And the person who's supposed to pay it would end up paying it, as opposed to it being a bargaining point.
Okay. Thank
Okay?
you. Yeah, Colleen.
Colleen Mall, 365 Rotherham, your 9th District Commissioner. I want to clarify the mineral tax and the property assessment fee just a little bit. I did get your letter, and I do appreciate that. It did get voted down twice at the commission level. It will come back up again. That mineral tax, my purpose for being here, because people listen to this, residents, I didn't get any calls from the residents. That mineral tax would have gone to roads. And we will bring it up again. Commissioner Cheryl and I will bring it up again, because we can bring it up as many times as we have to. But we keep getting voted down. So I want everybody in Fairfield Glade to be very aware that that is property tax money going to the roads. The mineral tax would have offset that, not a lot, $88,000 this year, a little more next year, a little more the year after. But it does give us some leverage into the road costs. So please, Fairfield Glade, pay attention when that comes back up again. The assessment fee, the property assessment fee, right now we don't charge very much at all. And the surrounding counties do. Again, that is property tax money that is paying the attorneys and is paying for the surveys that we are absorbing for new homes, any assessment that goes in. So it is a fair fee. It will come back up again as well. So I really only bring that to everybody's attention. We have a real estate property tax that's going, and I'm sorry, it's not a real estate property tax, but there is a real estate fee coming up before the General Assembly, where 30%, I believe, don't quote me on that, will be diverted back to the counties. It didn't get passed last year. It got stalled in committee, which is a good thing, didn't get denied. It is coming back up. We think that's going to be very favorable. So we're going to pay attention to that as it comes in front of the General Assembly in January. So anybody who is into looking at those legislative bills, look at that, because that money is also earmarked for roads and schools. And we'll choose once they approve that. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want me to move over?
I won't bite. My question is, do
Uh,
you know?
name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeannie Geib, Doyle Court. Do you know why the commissioners that are voting it down are doing so? I sent emails to all of the commissioners that voted it down, and I got one sort of garbled reply, and I got one gentleman who said I should call him, but I'm wondering if you know why.
Well, those are individual votes. If you, at the commission meeting where they were voted down, I did support why it was important to vote yes for that tax. The commissioners who voted against it did not say publicly why. So I can't speak for them, but you'll have another opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen.
Ted Landers, just one quick thing. Outside of this hall, there's an easel, and the easel has color depictions of the golf center, which we call the garage. That's been up for a year. Wouldn't it be more beneficial to replace that with either the EMS drawings, the emergency service buildings, or with the Druid plans, rather than something that's been up for a year that really has no value to us anymore? I mean, I don't mean the facility doesn't, but in terms of
Right. No, I understand.
Marketing.
We'll look into that. That's a good suggestion,
Thank you.
I think. Anything else? All right. Anything else from the board? Hearing nothing?
Shannon.
Oh, Shannon, let's go through this. Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah.
So why don't you come up here so you can talk into the microphone so the people at home can hear you too.
Okay, so just a reminder that we record this, so your detailed questions, I'm going to go back right after this meeting and rewatch and get all of those detailed questions, Tom, that you answered, or that you asked, and we'll get your answers. So I'm just going to be running through who asked the questions, what the topic was, because there's 5 pages here. But we will be responding, and it will be on the website. And if there's anything pending, we will note that it's pending and why. So, Tom, you started out, you asked several questions about the financials. You had revenue questions on pages 4 and 5. You had questions about golf projections, F&B expenses and the why behind that. Something about a confidentiality agreement. Again, I'll get the specific questions when I go back. You had some questions from Mary Kay about policies on the agenda, amenity reserve fee structure. Glenn Paulson, you had questions about the police expenses, the strategic plan, the reserve study, CNRs, where we go from here. Ted Landers, you had a question about an acronym on page 16. Okay, good. I can take that one off my list. And then we have in the F&B presentations, Ted, you had a question about the game room space, and then just adult game room space, or that kind of space, period. How do we address that? Gary Fish, you had questions about surveys that you fill out after going to Stonehenge. And then Diane, Diane Mueller, you had questions about F&B financials for Stonehenge. Answered. Great. All right. Beth Jones, you had a question about existing fence policy. I'll have to go back and just get the specifics on that one. You had a question, somebody had a question for the attorney, and I don't have the name down here, but it was, have we ever done compliant audit? And one, yeah, Tom.
The fence
Thank you.
policy
I did have your name there. And then amenity reserve fee structures, that's I think what you had in the beginning. Gary Fish, you had questions about financial statements, just making them a little bit more understandable. Frank, you had questions about, hang on a second. I'll come back to this one. Jerry Miller, you had questioned about amenity reserve fee, legal opinion about an interval seat, and Ted, you had a question about drawings for Druid Hills and EMS in the front. This other question was just about Flat Rock coming in and lot mergers and the vagueness around that. So again, we're going to have all these questions on the website, and if anything is pending, we will state why it's pending, and because sometimes we're waiting to get information, as Greg mentioned earlier. So.
And just as a reminder, the board will, at the start of the next board meeting, answer or provide those answers for anyone who didn't go on the website to see them or whatever. So it'll be another layer of response.
Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none? Is there a motion? I'm sorry. Well, we encourage the dialogue. We really do. We really want to hear from our members what you guys are thinking, the questions you have. And we try our level best, all of us, I would say, to try to get you those answers. Sometimes, like Mr. Fitzgerald, it's hard to get all the answers in a quick amount of time because you got to work through a whole lot of different layers of things. But we're willing to, I'm sorry? I know you do. And we are committed to go through those layers to get you the right answers. Rather than get you quick answers, what we're going to try to do is get you the real answers, okay? So please, we encourage you to come to these meetings. We encourage you to write into board members and Bill and Jason and Pat to let you know if you have questions so that we can get them answered, even beforehand. We want to be proactive in this. So I truly appreciate, and I'm sure the board does too, all of your attendance and being here and asking your questions. And we encourage that, okay? So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
I was going to say, if we fail for a second, we're in trouble. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thanks again for all your participation.